So then each of us will give an account of himself to God. Romans 14 and 12. My name is Thea Willis, and I believe that you feel better and you live better by doing better when your integrity is the foundation of your behaviors. Can I give you a quote by Bob Proctor? Bob Proctor states that accountability is the glue that will tie your success to your results. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been to jail? I know, worst question ever, especially when it comes to job applications if you have. To answer, I have. And I've been ashamed to share that because it was something that I pride myself on never having was a record. And I find myself caged from head to toe on the bus to LA County Jail behind a traffic ticket and uncompleted community service. So that leads me to my first point about feeling better. How can going to jail make you feel better? For me, it didn't. I did not feel good at all. I was very upset mentally about how I let myself get in that situation. Not to mention, I was extremely exhausted because going to jail and the process that they take you through is exhausting. So let's talk about my first point. The first point of feeling better. How can being accountable make you feel better? Well, it will surely make you have a peace of mind that you won't find yourself in undesired situations. Going back to Bob Proctor's quote, how your accountability will glue your success to your results. I know feeling better starts in the mind. You want to make sure that you're having positive thoughts about what you're doing. They will lead to positive actions. They will also lead you to have a more energetic and more spontaneity for what may pop up as an obstacle, like community service. That was an obstacle for me. It did not fit with my life, but it was something that I should have made a commitment more to so I would have had the best results possible, which would have not been on that bus going to jail. As I mentioned, it's all about how you think. You had to think better thoughts. Run that circle through your mind about what do you think about that leads you to negative results. And how can you change that in order to get a positive result? That goes back to the living better. When you make better decisions, you have better outcomes, meaning you're going to live a better life, happier life. Like we said, no one wants to mark that, yes, I've been to jail box on their application, especially in these days. Having a record can get you frowned upon. And not to say that people should judge you on having a record. For myself, I've never been in trouble before, and it was a simple traffic ticket. But still, it will be required to be answered. The question, have you ever been to jail? You have to be accountable for the things that you put yourself in. You have to make sure that you're checking your thinking while aligning with your lifestyle on what your desires in life will be. You want to have the best results possible, and that's going to require you being committed to what you want, being accountable to yourself, making sure that you're keeping the proper thinking, making sure that it's aligning with who you are on the inside, because negative thoughts can have reactions on your physical body. They can make you fatigued, they can make you sleepless. They can also make you kind of sick when you're overwhelmed and stressed. Cortisol, which are high levels in people who have very stressful lifestyles, can tend to weigh you down, literally, weigh you down. So when you're thinking better, you'll make better choices. You'll start living better. And the way you live better is by doing better for yourself, making sure that you commit to your own desires in life, like a domino effect. One action reacts to another action. For every action, there's an opposite and opposing reaction, results. Your results will determine on how much you decide to be committed to what you want. You have to be accountable to yourself. If I really didn't want to go to jail, I would have made that community service a priority. Ways that I could do better in order to live better so I would feel better about checking that box no on applications is that I have to make decisions for myself that will benefit me now for later. Meaning, I want to take account of what I'm doing now with my actions, with my thoughts, with my choices, with my decisions, in order to have that domino effect to create the right outcome. It all starts in the mind. You have to train yourself to think about what's worth it to you. Is it worth it to run through the stoplight and catch that ticket? I mean, if you can afford them $250 tickets, by all means, just be careful because that's other people's lives at stake. There's a reason why we have rules or commitments. When you go to work, that's a commitment, and you expect your boss to keep the commitment of paying you. That's why they ask you, have you ever been to jail? They don't want to take a risk on someone who may or may not follow through with what they are supposed to do. And that's all about being accountable with your life. No one wants to sit back and think about what they could have done when they have an ability to do it now. So I would suggest that we all take a time to sit back and think about how are we making choices that will benefit us later. I know they always say that, well, I'm going to live for today. Well, living for today could also be planning for tomorrow. When you're a farmer, you plant crops not for the day, but for the future. Consider these seeds into your life, being accountable, taking your own life into your own hands and making sure that you're making choices that benefit you to feel better, to live better, so you'll be doing better by you and by your others in your life. No one wanted to see me go to jail, and everyone was shocked and surprised while I was in there bawling my eyes out, acting way emotional and irrational, giving myself more deeper doubt about where I failed, feeling real self-conscious about the choice I made. It took me a while, almost 3 years, to want to have a deep discussion about what took place. And that is why I'm sharing that with you. I wish that I would have thought more about what I was doing with my time in order to plan better for my future. Now, if it ever pops up, I'll always have to re-explain myself. And regardless if it was minor or major, it still requires an explanation, meaning I have to take account for what I've done, like it says in Romans 14 and 12. So then each of us will give an account of himself to God. Not to bring religion into the topic, but just to say in authority, you will always have to answer to someone about what you've chosen to do, whether it's your job, your family, your significant other, or even yourself. Like me, it was hard to tell my clients at the beginning of my brand new business that, hey, I've put myself in a situation that I may not be accessible for a while. And even though I've been trying to service you, it's not your responsibility to feel bad for my actions. So again, I ask us all to be dominoes and to think about what we're doing now that will benefit us later. That opposite and opposing reaction to our decision. Feel better, to live better by doing better. When integrity is your foundation behind your behaviors. Decide to do better by yourself, for yourself, and you'll thank yourself for it. My name is Thea Willis, and I hope that I've convinced some of you to want to sit back and think about things that you have done or may decide to do and how it will benefit you. Is it better for you to eat that piece of cake if you're trying to lose 10 pounds? Or should you really go hang out with them friends when you know that you are 2 days behind on your schoolwork? Or should I really go out tonight knowing I have to be up at 5 in the morning, giving myself a hard day, knowing I'm going to want that check at the end of the week? Let's all be dominoes of change in life, and let's help each other balance out. I'll tap you, you'll tap me, and we'll keep each other focused on what our results should be. Bye. I think I went over